The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Hey, Doug, real quick, the reason, for those of you who are wondering why he keeps pointing out that he got within so many K of the size of the White House PDF and he didn't get layers, one of the theories thrown out by the OBOTs is that because the document was optimized, in other words, the file size was made smaller, that these layers were created. And that's why Doug is pointing out that he was able to create one within a few K or a few hundred K of the PDF at whitehouse.gov, and he didn't get the layers. That's why he's making that point. Go ahead.
Right. The certificate number, it has two resolutions in it, and one's grayscale and one's binary, and it really can't be that. Adobe doesn't do something like that. One is 200 DPI, and it was 300, and one of the number ones is binary, and the rest is grayscale. It just doesn't make any sense. It just can't be. Optimization doesn't do that. No Department of Health seal on the PDF. We covered that earlier. It was part of the green layer. The white halo is created by Unsharp Mask on the PDF. There's no question about that. We replicated it. We even to the same settings that gave the same thing. And also, what indicts them worse, and really goes back to Alvin Onaka, is they had a case in Mississippi with Orley, and the lawyer was Fuddy. And we got copies of the PDF that Alvin Onaka sent to Fuddy, and he says in the letter, we have a copy of, that he's adding presenting a copy of supposedly the White House PDF, but it was changed. They changed the RGB values to try to remove the white halo around all the lines in the type, and also the white dots disappeared. Now, the only way that could happen is you have to do it within Photoshop, and you have to manually change each RGB value, play with it, to try to get rid of the white halo, which they knew they had a problem. It also means that Alvin Onaka had direct contact with the forger, because that's the only one who would have the original Photoshop file to alter it, and then gave it to him, and they created another PDF, which was a lighter green. And that's what showed up in the pleadings in the court.
Hey, Doug, speaking of Alvin Onaka, do you find it interesting, I'll ask you what you've been asking me, that whenever he sent the verification to Ken Bennett in Arizona, if we can call it a verification, that he had a subordinate initial his stamp to distance himself from it as far away as possible?
It's possible. I sent a certified return receipt letter to Alvin Onaka with copies of certificate numbers as well as his registrar stamp, because we had multiples with errors on them, and they were on certificates that were forged in some way. In other words, plausible deniability. And I never got an answer back, but it was sent off to the U.S. Attorney and also the FBI also. So they also got copies of the letter I sent him. So I never got an answer back from the guy. That didn't surprise me, but I at least gave him a chance to answer me. Never heard, though. But I think he's very nervous about it. He knows someone's after him.
I think somebody's going to make a lot of money selling antacids in Hawaii.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.